Life doesn't come with a handbook, and no one should have to face it alone. That's where Courageous Minds Counseling steps in. Based in the Des Moines Metro, this group practice provides culturally responsive, trauma-informed therapy for children, adolescents, adults, couples, and families. Their team of highly trained and compassionate therapists understands that every person's journey is unique, whether through eye movement, desensitization and reprocessing therapy, play therapy, dialectical behavior therapy, mindfulness, or traditional talk therapy. They design treatment plans that meet clients where they are and guide them through where they want to be. From overcoming trauma and anxiety to navigating relationships, transitions, or self-discovery, Courageous Minds Counseling creates a safe space to heal, grow, and thrive. Because healing isn't a one-size-fits-all approach, and everyone deserves a chance to be heard, supported, and empowered. Call 515-601-2890 or visit courageousmindscounseling.com to schedule your appointment today. When courageous minds speak, oh, the possibilities. Hello, and welcome back to the Black Girl Iowa podcast, the show where we uplift the stories and voices of Black men and women making an impact right here in Iowa. I'm your host, Emily, and today I'm excited to welcome Paula Bell, a powerhouse leader, speaker, and consultant who has made a lasting impact in Iowa and beyond. Originally from Brooklyn, New York, Paula earned her BS in Management Infosystems before building a 20-year career in corporate America, where she served in high-level roles across industries like media, manufacturing, finance, and the courts. She is the CEO of Paula A. Bell Consulting, LLC, where her mission is to help clients achieve transformation through a holistic model of mind, body, and soul. Whether through life and leadership coaching, fitness training, or executive project guidance, Paula equips individuals and organizations to thrive. Known as the BA martial artist, Paula also brings the discipline and focus of her third degree Black belt in martial arts into her coaching and consulting work, inspiring clients to break through barriers and achieve lasting success. Community involvement is just as impressive. Paula serves as the president of the Nu Mu Zeta chapter of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, as well as being state and Midwestern region secretary. She is also a board member of Black Excellence Iowa, Taste of the Junction, and All Equity Alliance, in addition to serving as administrator for Focus nonprofit and emerging in health and wellness with Ninja P Fitness. When asked what she loves most about being in Iowa, Paula shares that it's a place where she was able to raise her children and help them develop the skills to thrive. Through it all, Paula continues to inspire, motivate, and encourage others, proving that when the mind, body, and soul are aligned, phenomenal things can be achieved. So, ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary friends, I'd like to welcome Paula A. Bell to the show. Paula, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. What an intro. Thank you for having me.
Those were my favorite part. Like, I just get to sit and I'm like, okay, I'm looking at all these facts about this person, plus I could do my own little research. And then I just get to writing. It's my favorite.
Love it. Love
And
it.
I also want to say, so you are now the third podcaster that I have had on the show. And so I love having other podcasters on the show because it's a time for me to turn the tables and pick your brain and ask questions. And I have to ask you real quick before I jump into my first question. What does it feel like for you to be on someone else's podcast? Because I have thoughts.
You know what? It's a relief in a way because I don't have to control everything, right? Making sure you're going with the pacing of the questions.
Mm-hmm.
I am a note taker when somebody else is on my podcast. I like to summarize and paraphrase what I believe I heard to make sure I'm hearing that voice and that narrative correctly. And I'm also, if I'm live podcasting or video casting, I'm also working with tech. So today
Mm,
I get to just sit and I don't have to worry about any of that. I just
love
have
it.
to answer questions. So to me, this is great. I love being on the other side of it.
That's awesome. See, my thought I was on my own podcast, so that was the final episode of season 1, and so my friend interviewed me, and I was a nervous wreck because I didn't have the control. But I have since been on 2 other podcasts, and now I'm like, "Okay, cool, yeah, this is fine." I do a lot of work, and it's fine to just be able to sit and have the conversation instead of being the person to adjust the lighting, make sure the sound check is done, and all of that stuff. So, I'm very, very happy, to have you here. I have been seeing you around town a lot, and I'm really excited to pick your brain about being not only someone that is in the consulting space, you are an entrepreneur, but what I've noticed about you and your journey so far is that you are essentially putting the things you love to the forefront, and it's almost like you've created this space where you could really do what you love and earn a living doing it. And so I have so many questions about that. But first, I always like to ask people, especially people that are not from here. My friend, you are from Brooklyn, New York.
I am.
What brought you to Iowa? And why did you stay in Iowa? That's always the big one. The easy part is why you got here. The hard part is what made you stay.
Well, I did not move here from Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
So I left Brooklyn, New York. I went to college in Oklahoma, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Spent about 4 years in Oklahoma. Left Oklahoma, moved to Georgia. Spent some time in Georgia. Moved from Georgia to North Carolina to Iowa. I came to Iowa, if I must be 100% vulnerable and transparent, because my first marriage didn't work. And for the safety of myself and my children, I needed to move out of the state. So that's a whole other podcast, which,
Mhm.
maybe I might bring you on my podcast and we could have a whole conversation about those sort of things.
Yes.
But I actually came to Iowa on faith.
Mm.
I knew I needed to take care of my twins. I have twins that are now adult age. But at that time, they were a little bit over 1 year old. And had sent them to New York. My aunt took care of them for a while. While I moved to Iowa, to work for a financial institution on a 3-month contract to a potential full time. So I packed up everything I could in my Ford Taurus, drove myself across the country to Iowa, to a place I have no family, didn't know anybody, but I knew I had to take care of these kids and I knew I was probably going to be a single mom for a while. And so I moved over to Iowa, worked my tail off for them 3 months, got a permanent position, brought my kids over, got them settled, and because they had went through so much change, I wanted stability for them. So that is really the number one reason I stayed in Iowa, was for stability for them, and at the time, Iowa was ranked number 1 in the education system.
Mm.
So, if anything, I knew they were gonna get a good education here,
Mhm.
and that was my biggest focus for them.
Mhm.
And so I stayed here. Now, you asked why am I still here? I will be honest, when I moved here, it was not my intention to stay here
Mhm.
forever. It is still not my intention to stay here forever.
Yep.
At
I
some
feel
point,
that.
yeah, at some point, because of the things that I do and how I like to travel, experience new things, and now that my kids are grown, I'm quite sure at some point in the near future, I'm gonna be ebbing and flowing somewhere. I don't know where, but for right now, I'm here.
Yeah.
And as long as I'm here, I will continue to work in the community and motivate, encourage, and inspire as many people as I can touch or that I'm supposed to touch while I'm here. And who knows what the future holds for me.
Thank you for being open and vulnerable with me and also the listeners, because I feel like, a lot of the times when we have to make those decisions and we have to step out on faith and just do something, it's in order to have a better life for ourselves. And those things aren't easy. And so I really appreciate you sharing that with us. And that actually is going to kind of lead me into my first question is really one of the things again that I love about your brand is that it encompasses so many things, but mind, body, and soul are kind of like those three pillars in what you do. So, can you tell me a little bit about the leap of faith to start your own consulting business?
Okay, so actually, I started my business in 2001. So next year will be 25 years I've been in
Wow,
business. And I didn't realize,
congratulations.
thank you. Yeah, I didn't realize it until I was writing something one day. And I'm like, wow, it's been that long. My company started originally in North Carolina as a wedding planning, directing, and desktop publishing company. I had planned my first wedding down to the intimate details, right, of
Mhm.
everything that you have to do from every intimate task, all of that. And so I was really good at it. It came natural and I liked it. I like doing weddings. I like directing them. Some people, they are like, I don't understand why you like doing that. It's so stressful and whatnot. But I actually like it. I like taking stress off of other people on a day that's supposed to be a beautiful, most important day for them. Right. So I like doing that. Now, when I came to Iowa, I had taken a little bit of a break as I got situated with the kids. But I was also at that time a business analyst. And what I also realized is I got my business analyst certification in North Carolina. I realized that that was just organic knowledge for me. It was nothing for me to do business analysis work or project management work. I love that work. And I also realized that I had a lot of knowledge to share. I've had the opportunity to be in a lot of different industries. So I wanted to share my experience. I wanted to share that knowledge. And there weren't a lot of people that looked like me in this field. And I don't think they realize how great this field is, how it is a very lucrative field with transferable skills that you can use everywhere. So I wanted to get out there more. But here's the thing, Emily, when I was growing up, I used to stutter. So I had a fear of speaking. So what I did is I turned that fear into an empowerment and I got up and I started speaking. And the first few times I did it, it wasn't great, but I had some great mentors, some great encouragers, supporters who helped me along the way. And then I realized I really like doing this. I really like speaking. I really like sharing my knowledge and I can mentor others. The thing with mentoring, though, is mentoring doesn't make you money because when people hear the word mentor, they think free, right? I was like, okay, so I'm not going to mentor because I don't have that much time. I'm
Mhm.
trying to raise two small kids, right? And so I'm trying to get my side hustle on. Let's keep it real. I'm trying to get
Yeah.
that extra stream of income. So
Mhm.
I switched it over to coaching and I started doing coaching. And I had to learn, there was a lot of learning that I had to take from that, learning how to price correctly, knowing my value, knowing my worth, all of those things. So that's always been a process in itself. But then I started doing coaching. And then in the midst of that, my son started taking martial arts.
Mm, okay.
So I, at the time, was the communications chair for our local IIBA chapter, International Institute of Business Analysis. It was our local chapter. So I couldn't really be involved. But once I no longer was the communications chair, the instructors were like, well, since you're here, you should just start taking it. I was
Mhm.
like, now what am I, my grown age, going to do with some karate, right? I'm like, what am I going to
Mhm.
do with this? Okay, so never in my wildest dreams did I think that I was actually going to go up to black belt. It was not something that I thought was even achievable for me, right? I'm thinking if you didn't start as a kid, you pretty much it's over, right?
Yeah.
Wrong. Totally
Wrong.
wrong, right?
Very.
Totally wrong. So I stuck with it and I did that. But what I also realized about martial arts that I had an appreciation for is martial arts is very mental. It's not just the physical aspect of it, it's the mental. Is you have to prepare yourself with tenets, with conduct on how to prepare your mind to train. And that's no different than anything else you do in your life. So 2 o'clock in the morning, one morning in 2014, I was taking a shower. Don't ask me why. I don't know why I was up at 2 o'clock in the morning taking a shower, but I was like, I want to know, how do I mesh two things that I love together, business analysis and martial arts? So I came up with this wild idea of being the BA martial artist. So I was going to show up in my gi, the whole nine. I'm going to be the BA martial art, and I'm going to help people shift mindset, build confidence using martial arts concepts. There was a lot of skeptics, right? But I had a friend, my dear friend, Adrian Reed, and I will thank him and be indebted to him till this day, gave me a chance to actually come out with this concept virtually at one of his chapter meetings. And it was accepted. And so I started doing it more and more. And then that's how I stood apart from other people, was because I was known as a BA martial artist. And that also allowed other people to see people like me who look like me, you can do
Mhm.
this too, right? And so it
Mhm.
was this whole sort of movement. And then I realized in 2020, when the world had essentially shut down, and I had a chance to just sit down and think about all of the interactions that I've had with all of my clients. the one thing that I realized is I was servicing them holistically. So I had
Mhm.
many clients who would come to me and say, I want to advance in my career, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. But their confidence was wavering. Some of that was because of things that had been said to them, things that had happened in their life. And so I switched over to life coaching and I was like, okay, so let's get this right first. We got to get your mind right. Because if I don't get your mind right where you want to go, you're going to have challenges. You're going to have these hurdles. And so I worked on that and I came up with a holistic mind, body, and soul model.
Right.
At that time in 2020, I was also working on my fitness for me personally that I had been working on since 2014. And I realized that I was in the best health in 2020. Right. I was focused, I was doing all those things, and I was just performing better. So I wanted to have other people have that same experience. And that's how I came up with the mind, body, and soul model. It was an iteration. It didn't
Mhm.
just come up. It took a few years to get that iteration to the point where it's stable now.
I feel like so many times when we wanna fix a problem in our lives, we focus on one thing. I wanna lose weight. Okay, I'm gonna concentrate on what I eat, but I'm not necessarily gonna work out, right? Or I wanna work out, but I'm not necessarily understanding that, there are certain habits and there's certain discipline that I need to have, and there might be, like, a mental block in there. I think that holistic approach and thinking about all of those things and focusing on all of those things is incredibly important, but when I think about all of this, it really ties into wellness altogether. When we think about wellness, we are so focused on fitness and eating, we're not focused on mental wellness, or we're not focused on all those other parts in your life that, are going to have either a positive or a negative impact on you. So, understanding that better about how you came to this amazing idea of focusing on the holistic part. What do you think some challenges are that people face when prioritizing their wellness? And also how are we to come overcome those barriers? I'm probably asking for free guidance here, but like I'm like, like this is such a great approach, but I always kind of want to think about what do you think there are some of the things that are stopping us from getting there?
Time, lack of consistency, lack of commitment, lack of discipline, and not seeing results as quickly as you want. So I would have to say those would be my top 5. And let me break those down a little bit on what I mean by that. So when I started my fitness challenge in 2014, though people will say, "Well, Paula, you were never really that big to begin with," but I was big to me because if you
Mm,
would have saw how what I looked like when I was younger, I I mean, I was lean. I was very active. I was dancing. I was in sports. Just very active. I was lean. And then when I had my kids and I was going through different things in life, I wasn't taking care of myself like I should have. So I realized when I couldn't bend down and get dishwashing liquid from underneath the sink, I had to hold on to the sink to pull myself up. Something isn't right, right? The hard thing about it is prior to that time, I would start working out, start working out, start. Okay. So I would see some results and I would stop. It's the consistency piece of it. The thing is that some people think that when they start working out, you're going to see results in 1 week. You're not. I'm telling you all right now, you're not. You might see a little bit of weight drop, but you're not going to see the drastic results that you want to see. It didn't take you 1 week to get to where you're at. So don't expect 1 week to take it off.
okay,
I'm just
Paula.
gonna I'm just gonna keep it real.
Paula, if you gonna be firing shots like that,
I'm just gonna keep it real.
yep, she
Right?
she's talking about me. Please continue, continue.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes. So think about that, right? It took a while to get that. So it's the consistency and waiting to see the results. We live in a society that we want everything quick. If you watch people, that's why I don't believe in diets. I don't do diets. I do lifestyle changes.
Mhm,
You can do a diet and you could drop weight, but if you don't change your mindset and the habits that you have, you're going to gain all that weight back and probably
mm,
then some, right? So you have to make the time to be consistent. Now, here's the thing. People will tell you, I don't have time. Yes, you do. You have time for what you want to make time for. So if you just do 30 minutes a day, 3 times a week consistently, you're going to see results. Now, it might take you longer to get the results you want, but that consistency is going to give you results. So here's what happens. People start to work out and they go hard. And watch, at the beginning of the year, aren't them gyms filled?
everybody. Mhm,
Everybody in the gym.
mhm.
By March,
Gone, gone. Yep.
right? Okay, so there's a reason for that, right? Or now April and May come and well, I gotta get that summer body. I gotta get into that swimsuit or whatnot, right? They hit the gym again. Okay. Keep doing that to yourself and keep flexing and all that and keep messing up your body. How about you not have to worry what time is coming up because you're being consistent and you're taking time? So I tell people when you're going on a fitness journey, what do you know you can commit to that you will do consistently?
Mm,
Now, some people can't work out 5 days a week. I'm a 5-day-a-week worker outer, and I'm gonna be real with you. The last 2 weeks, I have not been working out 5 days a week. I'm okay with that, right? I'm gonna get it back though,
mm.
but I haven't been because I've been doing some other things. Okay, start with 2 days a week. Can you give me 30 minutes? Let's just get you into a habit, right? And let's not make it daunting. Let's find something fun that you like to do. It doesn't mean you got to do 30 minutes on a treadmill. You could do 30 minutes on line dancing and burn calories,
Mm.
right? Okay, so now you have that. Now let's do some strength training. Let's do some things. And unfortunately, y'all, fitness hurts. You're gonna be sore. You're gonna be sore. It's
Yep.
okay. You're working muscles that haven't been worked in a while. It is okay, right? That's how you know you're getting them gains. And so some people just don't have that. They want the quick results and you're not gonna get that, right? And you have to set those boundaries. I have a boundary set. Most people who know me and know me well know you're not gonna get me on Sundays. Phone goes on do not disturb on Sundays. Sundays is my
Period.
meal prep day. That's my day to take a minute. You got me 6 days a week. You can't
Mhm.
have me on Sundays too now.
Yep.
I need a day to just so that self-care is really important too. And so setting those boundaries and being consistent and not beating yourself up when you mess up.
I would really love to dive into that. And this is when I go off script
That's fine. Let's do it. Let's do it.
because I really everything you said is spot on, even though I took a shot. That's fine. I'm totally okay with that, because I will sit here and think, I don't worked out for a week. I'm skinny now. So I got on the scale a few weeks ago. I was like, I'm down 7 pounds. Okay, I'm skinny. Great, no problem. I've kept it off. But obviously, I know that there are lifestyle changes that I can continue to make, and I'm working on that. But giving ourselves grace is incredibly hard, especially for Black women. And I feel like we don't give ourselves grace when it comes to our work, our families, our mental health, our physical health. We just don't do it. How have you been able to change your mindset to say, you know what? I'm going to give myself grace. I haven't worked out in 2 weeks, but that's okay. How does Paula put back into herself so eventually she can get back to the routine that she's created for herself?
Well, there's a couple of things. I've redefined the word fail. So
Mm,
a friend of mine years ago said this in a conference and it has stuck with me forever. And fail actually means a failed attempt in learning. So I haven't failed myself. I just didn't get that concept.
mm,
Okay, cool. I'm not perfect. So now I need to figure out why I didn't get that concept the first time and let's make it better. Let's change it up. And so for me, how I give myself grace is this: there are some things that are just out of my control. When I had COVID in 21, I couldn't work out. I did good trying to get out the bed to go to the bathroom, let
yeah, I
alone
feel
work
that.
out, right? Okay, I had to ease back into working out. And what I did was, the way I thought about it is, I haven't lost everything that I worked on. I just need to reestablish it and restart it. And my restart is going to be slow. And I'm okay with that. So, yes, right now, because I had a respiratory issue, I can't do a hardcore 1 hour of step. Okay, but I can get 20 minutes in. All right. I'm not going to beat myself up over this and I'm not going to overextend and push myself because my only competition is me. I really don't care what other people are thinking. And I believe that's where our problem lies is
Mm,
we are holding on to expectations and standards of others and these individuals aren't even thinking about us. They're not thinking about you.
mhm,
You need to be good with you. So your only competition is you.
mhm,
So that's my mindset. I'm going to do what I can do because I know how I want to look. I know how I want to feel. And whether this other person out here believes that I look the way I should look or feel, that's on them. We live in a society right now where social media is a blessing and a curse. You have
mm.
things on social media that motivate, but you also have those things that demotivate that can mess up your mental. You've got to be mentally strong to know when to detach.
Yep.
And so I am strong enough in myself to know what I can achieve. And this is another thing I'm going to tell people to do. Take a before and after picture and keep that picture so that when those times that you are going through life, because life out here, life in, you
Mhm.
can go back and look at that picture and say, I did it then. I can do it now. I remember what I had to go through then. And actually, then is harder than now because I'm already conditioned. I've been consistent. So I just need to catch it back up. And so give yourself that grace, but we've got to stop caring what other people say. I've had
Yeah.
people say to me, you look too thin or you're losing too much weight, all of that stuff. Okay, but I hear you complaining every day. You struggle and get into the gym,
Yeah.
right? I'm doing me as long as my doctor is saying that I'm not doing any damage to myself and
Mhm.
my numbers are where they need to be. I'm going to keep doing me because everybody's body composition is different. But I'm not going to sit up here and let you define how I should be. We have enough people doing that. So
Mhm.
I don't need that additional baggage.
Mhm.
So I'm not going to do that. So for my mindset, how I think about it is I give myself grace because I know what I can accomplish, but I also know I'm getting older. So my body doesn't move the way it used to. And though that is a very humbling experience, right?
A little.
Just a tad,
Just a little.
right? I still have the rep out here, and I don't understand why that I will take you out if you come to one of my classes. I really don't, y'all. I really don't. You just see the videos where we just going in. But I
Listen.
mean, I
Listen.
really don't.
I've seen the workout. Well, first of all, I've seen quite a few of your solo workout videos. I sweat watching. And I'm like, I would be passed out on the floor, fetal position, crying. And I'm pretty sure Polly, come on, get up. We got 20 more to go. Whoa, Paula, no. But what I will say about your videos is that I've talked to people that have taken your classes. And what a lot of people like about you and your style is you are continuously encouraging. And you also understand when people have their limit. And I think that's something that we unfortunately, like if we're looking at our social media and culture and TikTok and all those things, we don't see that. We see people getting pushed beyond what they can do. I mean, did you watch the Biggest Loser documentary that came out about a month ago on Netflix?
I did
I
not.
mean, oh my God. Like it's, 20 years later and people are talking about all of the things that they had to do to lose all of this weight, but it wasn't because they didn't do it in a healthy way that it wasn't sustainable. And I think that really speaks to what you just talked about how we are a society where we want results yesterday. We don't want them today. We want them yesterday because we want that gratification that when we go out and we wear a certain outfit or we look a certain way, we are going to get compliments because of how we look.
And can I
You
add
know,
something to that right quick? All
Yes,
right,
please. Yes.
to my ladies out here, let me break it down, okay? I know many of us want a certain body types to where we can attract the opposite sex, the same sex, whoever you want to attract, right? Here's the thing, y'all. Some of y'all don't want that smoke and won't know how to handle that much attention. Sometimes what you want, you can't handle, and that's why you're not getting it. Okay. And sometimes that is a blessing because when you have people who are just wanting you for how you look, your body composition, that actually destroys and gives you trauma that now you have to deal with for years and years to come. Do you really want that smoke? Right.
Mhm.
So anything you do, don't do it because you want other people to accept you and receive you. Do it because that's what you want.
Mhm.
Right. Because again, sometimes we want things, but when we get them, we really can't handle what we actually got. And that causes more damage that can
Yes.
cause you to go through a dark hole that you really don't want to go through. So I just had to
Yes.
say that
Yes.
sometimes you don't want all of that smoke that you think you want. You might
Yes.
say, yeah, if only I could fit into that dress, and if I had that wine bottle, that Coca-Cola sort of body, but the type of people you might attract with that Coca-Cola type of body, you got to
Mm-mm.
watch that. So I'm just going to put that out there as
Yeah.
well. That be comfortable in your own skin.
Mhm.
Some of us are made to be curvy and sexy. There's nothing wrong with that. Some of us are made to be a little bit thinner. And don't get it twisted now. Just because somebody may be curvy, they might be more healthier than you are.
That part. That
So
part.
You have to watch yourself and your own body
Mhm,
composition and take care of
mhm,
yourself. And one thing I do appreciate, you said you watch my solo videos. One thing that I do, I try to show in many of them is when I struggle. I think a
mm,
lot of people think I just throw up this weight and I'm all my cardio is always on point and I'm always no, I be struggling. There are some
mm,
times where I'm upset with myself because I have a knee issue and my knee won't cooperate, or I'm struggling with my squats, or I hate lunges to the end of the earth. Whoever made them, I can't stand them. I cannot stand lunges. But I know you have to do them, but I
yeah,
can't stand that is one exercise I could do without ever doing again are lunges. I hate them with a passion, right?
feel that.
But and there are those things. I don't really like jumping up a lot either, amazingly. As I'm getting older, gravity's a little bit different. So
Yeah,
I mean, let's keep it real. So don't that's why I like to show that I fail too, right? I have my moments where I just don't achieve what I want to achieve, and that's okay. You
mhm,
just get up and do it the next day and figure it out.
right. Yeah, and, I really feel like all of that is incredibly important because, we've talked about giving ourselves grace, and I feel like, when you are in the right headspace, you're giving yourself grace. You're not only setting boundaries, but you're upholding them, which I think which is so hard. We'll talk about that on another podcast episode. But I also think that when you're doing all of these things and you start looking and doing those things for yourself, you're building your own self-worth and self-confidence. Your self-esteem, again, all three of those terms start with the word self. So, my next question, and I want to get into my favorite part of the show, is just really talking about maintenance. So, we have all of these things, we're building all of these things, we're getting pulled in all these different directions. For you, what has been a practical way to balance it all?
For me, I would have to say my schedule, I carve out time. So
Mm,
I carve out time. I know what's going on in my schedule and when I'm working out and things of that nature, and when I need to do some self-care and all of that. I set boundaries. I found that I definitely need to be a boundary setter. So here's the thing. What I've realized is once people find out what you're good at doing or that you have something that they want, there will be a lot of people who will ask you to deliver. And there's sometimes I have to say no. I just don't have it in me because number one, I've been going for like 2, 3 weeks straight or whatnot. So maintaining to me is really setting those boundaries and knowing your own limitations, knowing how far you can push yourself. I remember there was one day I had a friend call me and apparently my voice sounded awful. And this friend asked, "Are you sick?" I said, "No, I'm exhausted. I'm
because there is a
tired."
difference.
Yeah, trying to sleep. I'm trying to sleep, and I literally slept all day. I was just really tired, and
Mhm.
I know that about myself, right? So I literally turn off the phone. You may not get to me. Unfortunately, that scares some people because they're like, "Well, Paula doesn't not answer her phone, right?" And there are some times I will get back to you, but there's sometimes I just need a break. I just need that time. And so balancing is just knowing your boundaries, knowing your priorities. So what's really important to you and knowing what your commitments are, right? So don't overcommit. I mean, sometimes that's hard to do. I am really big on helping the youth right now and being out into
Mm,
the community and all of that. So as you said, you see me in a lot of different spaces, but I also take time and carve out time in between that to re-energize, to replenish because I know I can't keep going hard all the time. And there's more than just me out here, right? There's other people who are out here who can do the work as well. It doesn't have to be me. And so sometimes I'll elevate those people too. I say, well, have you talked to this person? Because this person does this too, and they can probably help out in that space. And so it's really for me, it's just knowing my priorities. One thing that I also do that keeps me grounded, and I've been doing this since 2014. It's getting a little bit, it's going to be a challenge this year, but I'm going to try and make it happen. I usually take the last 2 weeks of the year off. And
period.
that's my
I
time
love
to
this.
reflect. Yeah, I just reflect. I just take time to let's think about everything that was accomplished this year. Let's think about the things that we're not. Let's think about what we want to do in 2025. I come up with my theme for 2025. I come up with my word for the next year, and this year will be 2026. But I'll come up with all of that at the end of the year, and that's what I hold myself to. So one of the things I said, I spoke into existence. Because I truly do believe there's power in the tongue, and your words have power, and those words can manifest. And I'm very particular on what words people manifest over me.
Mhm.
I don't accept everybody's words over me. So you might say something, but I'll be like, "No, that's good. I rebuke that in the name of Jesus." I mean, I mean that's where I be. Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah,
It's facts. Like, I literally just had that conversation with my club sisters on our way back from Ohio, and that was one thing, like, we were talking, we were like, "Yo, like, sometimes not everybody's prayers over you." Like, "No, I'm okay." And I think it's one of those things where you know when it's genuine and you know when it's not.
that part. I grew up in
So
the church. So my mother was an evangelist. I grew up in the church. So I spent 6 days a week in the church. And
mhm,
so I've experienced some things in many different churches, right? And
mhm,
I've been in leadership in churches and I've been in administration in churches and things of that nature. And I really don't play when it comes to my faith, but I also know that words really do have power, and words, it's the words that's causing some of the trauma in
mm,
people because of what people have spoken over them multiple times that they began to speak in themselves, and now they believe it, right? And I'm not saying I'm perfect with this. I'm all about positive affirmations and speaking positivity, but I'm very intentional on who I attach myself to when
yeah,
I'm trying to elevate, because you may not be the one elevating with me, right? No matter how long I've known you, but I'm really intentional on that. And not everybody has your best interest at heart. Let's just keep it real.
mhm,
There are a lot of people out there who are just egging for your downfall. They want you
yep,
to fall. Right? They'll be smiling in your face, but behind your back, they're just hoping, preying
mhm,
on your downfall, right?
yep,
And so you have to know that. And so you have to know, have those people around you. So I'm very intentional on what I speak out and what I allow other people to speak. I used to have a friend of mine say to me all the time when I was doing step, when I first started, "You're gonna fall one day and just break your tail." I'm like, "You're not gonna speak that over me. I'm not gonna
no,
fall and do nothing." I mean, yes, we're going fast and we spinning, and yes, I've been injured,
mhm,
but it's not because of your words that you're gonna you're not gonna, because those words can be manifested. And so I truly believe you just have to watch what you speak about yourself and what you allow
yeah,
others to speak about you. That's really big for me for maintaining and
mhm,
balancing, because I know there's going to be people out there who are going to feel intimidated and threatened by what you do, but just by the nature of you showing up or being out there. And I'm past that. I'm past that. That's a you problem. That's not a me problem. I don't have
yep,
time for it. And so I'm very intentional on that. And again, I surround myself with people. This is another thing about balancing work, family, and community. I surround myself with people, not necessarily that are always like minded, because you need those people that are going to push you, going to challenge you status quo, but those people whose motivations are genuine,
mhm,
who we're all in this to win. We want to win together because we all know that we all have our own purpose
mhm,
and we all have our own talents and skills that nobody can take away from us, that we need to bring out. So no matter what's for you is for you. Nobody can take that away from you. And so that's how I keep the balance. And my support system is huge for me because my
yeah,
support system holds me accountable. Paula, go
yes.
sit down somewhere. You're doing too much. Facts.
Yep, I've had my support system say the exact same thing, but then again, I've also had my support system say, "You've been sitting for too long. Get up.
That part. You getting
Get
too
up."
comfortable.
Exactly, exactly. So, I wanna go ahead and jump to my new favorite part of the show before we wrap up, and that is the lightning round. I have 10 questions for Paula that we're gonna have her rapid fire go through here, and these are some really good ones. Like, these ones took time. So I'm really
All right.
excited for these.
All right.
First one, do you prefer a morning or evening workout?
Morning all day long.
Okay. Cardio or strength training?
Both. Can't choose.
Okay. And me and my weak knees, I'll take strength training for
Well,
200.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you why. Because the two go together to me.
Yeah.
If you're dropping weight, you got to tone, right? So I still want my body to look good, so I gotta do both.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. When I was, I did. So I've had two like big workout stints in my life, that actually like did really well. So back in 2017, I won a trip to Disney World through work. Yes, it was all expense paid, flights, everything. I was All States Distinguished Performance Award winner 2017.
Okay, go ahead, girl.
So I had 4 months to get right because we were going to be walking 4 parks. Now, when I was living in Arizona, I gained 50 pounds over 5 years. Yep, sure did. I ate everything and it was delicious and I have no regrets. But I had been to Disney World in high school and I remembered, 17 or 16-year-old Emily was like, wow, that's a lot of walking. And I'm just like, ain't no way with all this extra weight. So for those 4 months solid and even a year after that, I was working out, I was doing everything, and the strength training was fun. I hated the cardio because the cardio, it was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I can, 10 minutes on the elliptical, no problem. Now, girl, you've been working out for 2 months. You can do more than 10 minutes on the elliptical. So I knew that I had to do the interval training. I just didn't want to. And that was just like one of the hardest things I've ever done. And then a couple years ago, went through another right after my divorce, I went through another really long, probably like year-long workout stint. And it was the same thing. It was, oh yeah, I'm losing all this weight. This is great. I'm in this 3 months. I can still do 5 minutes on the treadmill, right? No, you can't. You gotta kick it up. And then I started to blame my bad knees. And then I should say it's one knee. That's bad. But okay, enough about me. Sorry. Okay. One wellness habit you never skip.
Self-care.
Okay. What does
Gotta have
self-care look like for you?
self-care looks like for me is when I actually just get to decompress. So my mind is constantly going. And so it could be watching a movie, a massage. Let me tell you, the massage and
Mm,
reflexology is my jam. Give me a massage and reflexology. That's the thing. It could be just sitting
okay.
down reading, cooking,
Yes.
and baking, right? So
Okay.
I love to cooking and baking is a stress reliever for me. So it's those sort of things that I just enjoy.
Okay. Favorite healthy meal or snack?
So this one here, I would say a protein bar or a protein shake, something
Okay.
really quick that I can get to.
Okay. Go-to hype song for the gym.
Girl, Position to Win by Migos.
Okay. Okay.
Because that song hypes me up to win. I'm in a position to win, especially when I'm doing a hard rep or set
Yeah.
where I'm shaking at this point and my body's
Mhm.
ready to give in.
I
There's
love
something
that.
about that song that's keeping me. You gotta win, you gotta
Yeah.
win. So
Yeah. 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 Okay. Coffee, tea, or a smoothie to start your day.
see, my family's from Barbados and we used to be under British rule. So it's gotta be the tea. It's gotta be the
Okay.
tea.
All right. Best book or podcast that inspires your consulting work.
See, this is hard because I listen to a lot of different motivational videos, but I would
Mhm.
say one book that comes to mind is The 360-Degree Leader by John C. Maxwell. I'm a Maxwell fan.
Okay.
So I've read a lot of his books, I listened to a lot of his videos, even use his videos in my speaking. So I would have to say that would probably be the one.
Okay. Biggest pet peeve about fitness and health and wellness.
Assumptions. Assumptions. Stop making assumptions on what people want you to look like. Stop making assumptions on what you can or cannot do. Stop making assumptions on what people think of you. All of that. I can't stand it. Stop making assumptions. Just stop it.
Yep. Just stop. Listen with the
Just stop.
hard T at the end. Stop it. Did y'all hear that? That was okay. I think that was Mom Paula that
Yes,
just
it was.
told y'all.
Yes, it
Okay.
was.
One word that your clients would use to describe you.
Inspiring. I
Okay.
hear it all the time.
Okay. And if you could give every leader listening today one piece of advice in 5 words or less, what would it be?
Listen more, say less, and empower.
All right. That's it, y'all. Write it down. Write it down. All right. Well, Paula, again, this was so great to have you on the show today. I feel like when you are talking with someone about health and wellness and fitness and all of those things and betting on yourself, conversations like this always help me because granted, I don't want to run out and go get in the gym, but I do want to start thinking about a plan and how to keep my body healthy and how to do it for myself and no one else. So I do appreciate the conversation today. Before we end, though, I want to make sure that people know where to find you. So I'm going to go ahead and roll out the red carpet. Please let people know where they can find, where they can follow, and how they can support you.
So I am on Facebook. I am on LinkedIn. I am on Instagram. I am on TikTok. You can find me either as the BA martial artist, Paula Bell, or Ninja P Fitness. If you find one, you'll be able to find all the others. So that's the thing. So I'm pretty active on those 4 platforms. Ninja P Fitness more so on TikTok because that's just the videos and all of the stuff. But from everything else, you can find me on LinkedIn and Facebook, and hopefully we'll connect. So Emily, I have to say this one thing to you though. As you said, you feel like you need a plan. So I'm gonna give you one right now.
Okay.
Actually, this
All
is all
right.
you need to
All
do.
right. Listen, I got
This is
my
all you need to
pen
do.
and my post-it ready. Let's go.
What are your top 3 fitness goals? Define those. Now, I don't want you to just list the goals. I want you to list them, but add the why behind them. So if you want to lose 50 pounds, why do you want to lose 50 pounds? And you need to be very honest. If you want to lose 50 pounds because you want to fit into a swimsuit, okay, that's your why, right? And so I want you to do that. So come up with your 3 goals.
Okay.
Then I want you to commit to a certain number of days and time that you will work out. And I say start small. And you have to consistently do that. So it has to be something that you can consistently do. And then the third thing I would tell you is find an accountability partner, someone who's going to stay on you to make sure that you are doing those workouts. Now, there is a food component to this as well. You do have to eat better. So, what I would recommend is get rid of one thing that is really not serving you. Right. So if you are a soda drinker or pop drinker, depending on what part of the country you're from, because people will argue whether it's soda or pop, and I don't have time for that today. If
Welcome
you
to the
are,
Midwest.
just right, I don't have time for that today. What if you are, and that's something you can give up, give it up. I used to drink Mountain Dew and Pepsi religiously. I can't tell you the last time I've had a Mountain Dew, and I think I had a Pepsi last year. I didn't do too well with it, right?
Mhm,
So, what is that one thing that you wanna give up? I'm gonna tell you, my vice is sweets. You're not ever gonna get me to give them up. You're just not.
mhm,
I just know me about that, but there are other things that I do. I'm not a 100% clean eater, but I eat
mhm.
pretty decent, even though I'm not gonna be eating decent tonight because I just ordered a pizza, but I'm not gonna be eating decent tonight. But,
Not
I just got too
today,
much not
but
tonight because I just got too much stuff going on tonight. I just got too much stuff, but start small, right? So give me your 3 priorities. Give me how your commitment to how many times you're gonna work out a week and how long those workouts are gonna be. What's that one thing that you can give up and find an accountability partner? You do those 4 things, you're on the path of changing your lifestyle.
I can do that. I can do that because I already gave up, like, the Pepsi, like, well, mine was not Mountain Dew. What am I talking about, Emily? You don't like Mountain Dew. Mine was Dr. Pepper. I am a Dr. Pepper junkie. I love Dr. Pepper. I used to drink, like, 2 a day, and then I was like, "Okay, Emily, just go to 1." Now, I don't really drink it at all unless, like, I go out to eat, and I really like Poppy, and I usually only have 2 to 3 of those a week because 'cause they're expensive. But
There it is.
that's helpful because I kinda started already doing that a little bit, but now it's like, "Okay, Emily, but give up something else." So, I like that, and I appreciate that, and you guys, you heard it here. So, I will be following up on Paula's rules that she just gave me, or directives, or what is it? Pieces of advice, things that I should do. I'm gonna be following up on this, you guys, because granted, I would like to start being more active. I don't think I have a weight loss goal, but I think I just want to be more active because I'm not. So that's great. Well, Paula, thank you so much for sharing your journey, your wisdom, and just your heart with us. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you to my listeners for tuning in today to the Black Girl Iowa podcast. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Black Girl Iowa. You can also listen to this episode and all of my previous episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And also, if you want to show extra support to the show, please be sure to check out my Etsy shop, Black Girl Iowa Shop, for apparel, journaling kits, and so much more. Every purchase helps me continue to share these stories that matter. So until next time, stay rooted, stay rising, and keep thriving.